It's time to put Sunday's loss behind us and start focusing on next season. This off season is going to be extremely important for the Detroit Lions, especially that we got the band coming back together with Ben Johnson returning and calling the offensive side of the ball and Aaron Glenn returning and calling the defensive side of the ball. We got to get more talent on this team, whether it be via free agency or the draft. One Pride, what's going on? It's your boy, T. Back at it again with another episode of Talking with T. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Detroit Lions free agency. We're going to start calling this Free Agency Fridays. And today we're talking about the defensive line. So without further ado, let's roll right into the video. I'm going to be interested to see how Brad Holmes attacks free agency. We all know Brad Holmes hasn't been ultra aggressive in free agencies, kind of giving veterans, middle of the pack veterans, not even good deals, just deals they deserve. And he's built the team through the draft, and he's just brought plug and play pieces in. I'm curious to see now that our Super Bowl window is open. Yes, our Super Bowl window is open. We are one of the few teams that can say Super Bowl or bust. How aggressive he's going to be in free agency. He's going to go after the stars and go get some huge defensive line help because that's going to help us win the Super Bowl. Or is he going to stay back and continue to draft good and just reduce, reuse, and recycle? We have $60 million in cap space, but we also have to extend Jared Goff. Yes, I'm extending Jared Goff. Then we also have to extend Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a first-team All-Pro. You're going to have to give him first-team All-Pro money, and that's the same with Penei Sewell. You're going to have to extend him, and you're going to have to give him first-team All-Pro money. So there's probably going to go $30 million towards those players. How are we going to spend the rest of the $30 million? And I think we should go after some key defensive line help. Because if we can get Aleem McNeil some help, if we could get Aiden Hutchinson some help, that would make that defensive line so good. Our defensive line was probably our biggest weakness this past year. Our front four can never just generate pressure themselves. They always needed to send pressures from the safety and the linebacker position, and that's where the 3rd and 12, that's where the 3rd and 11s were stinging us in the butt because we could get no pressure on the opposing quarterback. We gotta upgrade this defensive line, and there's some key players in the free agency that this Detroit Lions team should go after. And before someone says that this place isn't an attractive free agency destination, BS. Yes, it is. Like I said earlier in the video, we're one of the few teams that could say the Detroit Lions Super Bowl window is open. It's Super Bowl or bust. And we have Dan Campbell. You've been hearing players all over the league saying they would love to come play for Dan Campbell. He's probably going to win Coach of the Year this year. So, yes, Detroit is an attractive destination, and it's all depending on how Brad Holmes wants to construct this roster. And I trust Brad Holmes. I'm never going to question him. He's done nothing but build this roster into what it is now. So if he doesn't go after the star players, that's totally cool. But get me some help on that defensive line. So here are some of the top defensive line help that the Detroit Lions could target. Granted, some of these guys are going to get franchise tags, so they're going to come right off the list. But now they're not franchise tag, and it's fun to play this game right now. So let's talk about it. Here are 10 of the top free agents that the Detroit Lions should target on the defensive line. Leonard Williams, defensive tackle from the Seattle Seahawks. They're in their first year of a new head coach. Who knows if they're going to waste a franchise tag on him, but a projected contract would be 3 years, $50 million. He would be fun to have on this defensive line in the middle with Aleem McNeil. That would be around $16 million a year. We could do that. DJ Reader's another defensive tackle I would love to go get from Cincinnati. He's looking at like a 3-year, $14 million contract. That's decent, and that's something I would go spend money on. This is not going to happen, but it's just fun to have it on the list, is Chris Jones from Kansas City. His deal, if he doesn't get franchise tagged again, his deal is going to be ridiculous, and he's probably going to get around $28 million a year. I mean, you can miss me on that, but it'd be fun to have Chris Jones here on the Detroit Lions in that middle of that defensive line with Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson. Sheldon Rankins, another solid defensive tackle. Chase Young, we all know about Chase Young. Everyone wanted to go after him. At the deadline, he went to San Francisco, kind of had a decent game, against us in the NFC Championship, but him and Aiden Hutchinson would be a lot of fun. Then we got Christian Willikins, defensive tackle from the Miami Dolphins. I don't think he's really going to end up leaving Miami. They're probably going to end up extending him. Brian Burns is someone I would love to have on this defensive line, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, but that's going to be a lot of pretty penny. AJ Epinesa, this is another one that's going to be kind of maybe low budget you could go get, and that'd be fun to have on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson. Or you got Justin Matabuke. He's another defensive tackle from the Baltimore Ravens. But then you got veteran pieces that you could go trade for, or like a Leonard Floyd, someone like that. Those are players that you just want on the opposite end of Aiden Hutchinson that you have to account for. Yes, James Houston's good and he's back, but he didn't play it this offseason, or this whole season. We need someone we can rely on. And we don't really know what James Houston is going to be. We saw what he could be in 2022. Can he still be that? I don't know. Let's go get one of these stud defensive linemen that'll bolster that defensive lineman. That's going to make Cam Sutton look a lot better. That's going to make our secondary look a lot better because they don't have to cover people for 6 to 7 seconds. The defensive line is our biggest need, and any of these players that I just mentioned will definitely help this Detroit Lions team moving forward in the next season and help us contend for a Super Bowl. Comment down below what you guys think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please keep helping this channel grow. I appreciate you guys. One Pride, signing out. Peace.